Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Christina McCrary on Facebook, aka Xtina McCrazy on TikTok and Instagram, host of McCrazy's Place, the Lightning Bolt Chronicles, and Thursday Night Live, all of which have Instagrams and various YouTubes and Facebooks. If you click on the link in any of those bios, you can find all things McCrazy. Yeah, all presented to you by Sarkarigans Media Group, SMG or SMD. Welcome back to the Lightning Bolt Chronicles. Lovely co-host, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Erica. I'm a Hufflepuff, and we're here, and we're doing the thing. Let's make magic and stuff.
I love that we're doing the thing.
Yeah.
That's just... Okay, so we are back for Chronicle 1-9, which means we are doing Book 1, Chapter 9, The Midnight Duel. And Erica, I believe it is your turn to give the chapter summary, friend.
It's my turn. All right. The Midnight Duel. There are so many book verses, movie moments here. There's a lot going on. We meet a lot of new characters. Let's just do the rundown. So basically in the Midnight Duel, I love the very first sentence, and I want to read it specifically because it's everything. Harry had never believed he would meet a boy he hated more than Dudley. But that was before he met Draco Malfoy. In and of itself, that's pretty fantastic because this is where the passion, the very strong hatred for Draco Malfoy begins, and we get to see it.
the despising and the nasty taste in the mouth.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot.
Draco's a douche.
Yeah. That. So there are a lot of really high highs and not low lows, but like sticky moments in this chapter. So basically, we're gonna learn to fly. This is the most exciting part, right? Like truly, I mean, sure, doing potions and using your wand, all that stuff. Yeah, it's all part of being a wizard, but learning how to fly on a broom, that's up there. So everyone is nervous, right? All the first years are nervous. In particular, Neville, who we come to find out is a massive klutz, super clumsy. So it's, not a good idea for him to be off the ground. And Hermione, who, try as she might, she cannot learn how to fly a broom from a book. Yes,
May I read the passage? I need to read the passage. Neville had never been on a broomstick in his life because his grandmother had never let him near one. Privately, Harry felt she'd had good reason because Neville managed to have an extraordinary number of accidents, even with both feet on the ground. An extraordinary number, not like a normal number or an occasional number. Neville has extraordinary numbers of accidents with both feet on the ground.
Yeah. And we learn about those little by little. So at the beginning, we learned when Neville was growing up, his family thought that he was a squib for a really long time, like that he was non-magical for a really long time, because typically your magic shows in unexpected ways when you're
there
scared.
Are traces.
Yeah. And like little wisps of magic happen here and there. But for Neville, that never happened until his uncle dropped him out of a window, right? So yeah, he's scared, super scared. And then for Hermione, who is born of Muggle parents, she has no idea. Everything is also new to her, and she tries to absorb everything through books. And this is a hands-on learning process, right? She can't, try as she might, read Quidditch Through the Ages. She's reading Quidditch Through the Ages, and Neville's over there like, tell me more. Let me learn with you.
No. She bored them all stupid, is what the book says. From flying tips she'd gotten from the library book called Quidditch Through the Ages. Yeah, she bored them all stupid at breakfast.
She's thinking she can learn this through a book, but there are certain things that are just hands-on,
You can read the instructions, but practical is practical, kid.
Yeah. And then we meet Madam Hooch. Madam Hooch is the PE teacher. Can we, in layman's terms, PE teacher, right? She's the broom riding instructor and the Quidditch match referee, and many other things. I love that she's
in charge of the athletics department.
Yeah. So she has short gray hair and yellow eyes, hawk-like eyes, which I love that the fact that the movie actually got this quite spot on, I feel like. I feel like Madam Hooch is very Madam Hooch-like. In what I
would agree.
Yeah, in what I imagine her to be like. Anyway, so she goes on and she's like, okay, guys, get your brooms, stand next to your brooms, put your hand over your broom and say up. And this is the part of the DNA magic within you that allows you to say up without using a wand, and the broom just obeys your command. But not everybody's brooms obeyed their commands. For Harry, right away, bam, flew into his hand. Ron, not so much. Everybody else, there were only a few people, right? And then, Hermione and Neville, it wasn't happening. So you can see there may be a little bit of connection between the person and the wand, the ability to maneuver it.
Hermione's at least rolled over on the ground. Neville's didn't move at all.
Yeah. One thing that was really fun to me also was that Madam Hooch told Malfoy that he had been holding his broom wrong the whole time. And of course, the good guys all laugh at that, right? That the bad guy is having a moment.
Harry and Ron were delighted, it says.
Yes. So that was very, very nice for Harry to experience that little kind of jab at Malfoy, I think.
Well, that's because every time Malfoy talked about having been flying for years, they were braggadocious stories where he usually ended up narrowly escaping a Muggle helicopter.
Yeah, but also the other kids also had these outlandish stories about flying on brooms, right? I think it's
not completely. Seamus said he flew up and down the countryside, which if you live in a rural enough place, why not? Because the Weasleys would play Quidditch in their yard or whatever in the side.
Yeah, but okay, up and down the countryside is very different from playing in your house area.
That's true.
You've got a couple acres, or if you've got an acre, if you have some amount of land, that you live in a rural place and people can't see you flying around. You can't just fly up and down the countryside. I don't think
Hey, he's Scottish. Maybe he lives somewhere where there's not a lot of people and he can fly up and down the countryside.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never been.
Me neither, but it looks like a lot of trees.
Yeah. Yeah. It does look very kind of Japanese-ish, actually.
All right. Anywho.
Japanese. All right.
Sorry.
It's okay. So then we go on to where Neville has one of his patented accidents. He is so nervous.
Wait. Nobody saw this coming? Neville and a broomstick? Nobody saw this accident coming at all? There wasn't? Sorry.
This is part of us learning about just how clumsy Neville is, right? You know, like,
dude, the first spell Neville should have learned was that one where you cushion yourself from a fall, because he falls a lot. That one. There you go. That one would have stopped this catastrophe.
Yeah. Well, but he was okay. So according to the book, he was ricocheting off all kinds of things. Right. So he quite literally he kicks off early. He kicks off early because he is nervous and jumpy, frightened of being left on the ground. He pushed off hard before the whistle had touched Madam Hooch's lips. He rose straight up like a cork shot out of a bottle. Super high, right? Just going up, and up. And then starting to pummel down, white-faced, gasp, slip sideways off the broom, and bam, right?
Yeah.
Broke.
Face down in the grass. He didn't ricochet off of anything. That was in the movie where he ricocheted off of all kinds of stuff and got caught on the spear and yeah, no. In the book, he literally just goes 20 feet straight into the air, falls off the broom, and bites it hard.
Up and then so then Madam Hooch obviously has to take him to the hospital wing, although for foreshadowing, okay? If a student can fix someone else's broken bone, why can't Madam Hooch just fix his wrist?
I assume there's protocols.
But she's a fully qualified adult witch.
Is she?
Isn't she?
I mean, we assume so, but is she?
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
She's an athletics witch. Yeah, I don't know.
For her to be able to deal with injury.
Especially broken bones. A broken wrist seems like an easy one.
You're the referee of a sport where human bodies, magical as they may be, are flying around, I don't know how many feet up in the air on broomsticks, hitting each other with giant bats and big old, it seems like cannonball type.
They're not supposed to use the beater bats to hit each other. They're only supposed to use them to hit the balls at each other.
Accidents happen.
Right. Not to mention falling off of a friggin' broomstick. Because all of this is taking place while you're flying around on broomsticks.
How can she not just, boom, fix a wrist? Anyway,
because she didn't have to take Neville to the hospital wing for a broken wrist,
Yes,
then we
the
wouldn't have
chapter.
had the next scene, which is so intriguing and has to happen.
Well, yeah. Storyline. So, as you said, they go off to the hospital and she leaves however many children unattended with a bunch of broomsticks.
I mean, she told him not to move.
Okay, kids are gonna listen. You and I both work at a school. Stop.
And they're like 11. You just left like 20, 11-year-olds outside with brooms and told them not to move. Dummy.
Preposterous. Anyway, so of course, as we said before, Hermione was being Hermione when she was trying to study flying out of a book. Now, Malfoy is being Malfoy as he does and tries to bully the crap out of people. He sees Neville's Remembrall. So his grandmother gave him a gift, and the gift is a Remembrall, which would you like to tell the description of the book? Description of the Remembrall?
So the Remembrall is a glass. Is it glass?
Yes,
it's a glass ball. It's a glass ball slightly larger than a large marble, or about the size of a large marble. When you squeeze it in your hand, if it glows red on the inside, it means you've forgotten something. Now, poor Neville, as soon as he touched it, it burned scarlet.
Right. Naturally, it's full of white smoke.
Oh, okay. And then the
As it
smoke
just
will...
sits there.
Yeah, like it's cloudy white smoke. If you hold it in your hand and you've forgotten something, the smoke will turn red. And of course, the moment Neville touched it, it turned scarlet. And then he was trying to figure out what he was supposed to remember.
Exactly.
Seems like a Remembrall would give Neville anxiety.
Right? Like, why doesn't it tell you what you forgot? This is a dumb 8-ball. It, like, for having all the magic that they have, it's like, why doesn't it tell you the thing you forgot? If you just tell me I forgot something, I know when I forget things. It's the what did I forget factor that I want to know.
Well,
anyway,
you don't get to know what you forgot. You just get to know that you forgot.
Yeah. So Neville going through his flight, his
20-foot drop.
Accidental flight. He drops his Remembrall and Malfoy picks it up and he's like, look, you know. And Malfoy is a bully. He's not kind. So he basically, he says, look, it's that stupid thing Longbottom's Gran sent him. Being so kind, right? And then Harry, of course, being the, Gryffindor that he is like, let me stand up to you and try to get it back. And he's like, no, I'm going to put it somewhere else. And here comes the fun. Harry gets on a broom for the first time. And he is elated. He's like, holy bananas. This is something that I can do. This is something that I can feel in my body, in my blood. I know what to do. He said Harry knew somehow what to do. He leaned forward and grasped the broom tightly in both hands, and it shot toward Malfoy like a javelin. Malfoy only just got out of the way in time. That's how good he is, right? Harry made a sharp about face and held the broom steady. A few people below were clapping. So people are like, yeah, Harry, you can do this. I love this part for Harry. Love, love, love it. Ron's like whooping and stuff, right? And then Harry and Malfoy have a small exchange where he's like, there's no Crab and Goyle up here to help you out. It's just you and me, one-on-one, baby. Mano a mano. Let's go. And Malfoy's like, oh, that's right. Oh, okay, I'm just kidding. He's like, go get it. And he just throws it, right? And so Harry dive bombs, goes to get it, catches it. All miraculous, fantastic flying. And Professor McGonagall spots him out of one of the windows. So she rushes down there, and she's basically, tearing into Harry about how never in all my time at Hogwarts, how dare you? You could have broken your neck, blah, 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 this and that, right? Trying to get him in trouble, well, seemingly upset at him. And then she's like, come with me, Potter. And they walk through the castle, and Harry is beside himself, thinking of what's going to happen next. Do you think, maybe he can possibly be like Hagrid, and maybe, he can still stay at Hogwarts like a gamekeeper. He can help Hagrid out. That would be okay, but then he'd be sad because Ron and Hermione are learning to become witches and wizards and this and that. Then they're walking through, and Professor McGonagall stops at a classroom, and she goes in, and she asks to see Wood. And Harry is like,
borrow. She used the word borrow.
yes.
Excuse me, Professor Flitwick, could I borrow Wood for a moment? Wood, thought Harry, bewildered. Was Wood a cane she was going to use on him?
So he's freaked out. Out comes this boy, and Professor McGonagall's like, this is Oliver Wood. Wood.
He's captain of the Quidditch team.
I found you a secret. And Harry's like, he doesn't know these terms and stuff. So he's like, what? What? I don't understand what's happening still. So she's super excited. They're talking, and she's like, he caught this with his bare hands, first time on a broom, on a 50-foot drop, or however much drop, like a deep dive. Didn't hurt himself. Charlie Weasley couldn't have even done it. She's comparing him to the great Charlie Weasley. And it's fantastic, right? Like something that he's good at, something that he's getting praised for, something really good is going to come out of it, right? And he's the new Gryffindor Seeker. The youngest in a century. So exciting. And he is going to get a broom. Now, he gets this broom. It's all wrapped up. We can't see it, but it comes in the mail. And this is one of the best parts because, again, stick it to the bad people, right?
Ma'am, that didn't happen in this chapter.
Not yet?
Nope.
Oh! This was a book versus movie moment on my thingy. So...
yeah. No, she and Wood are talking a whole bunch of stuff that he still doesn't understand or know anything about. And he's like, we'll have to get him a broom. And she's like, I'll talk to Dumbledore about bending that first year rule. And he's like, he'll need at least a Nimbus 2000 or a Clean Sweep 7.
Yeah. And then she turns to him and says, Your father would have been proud. He was an excellent Quidditch player himself. So this is another book versus movie moment where McGonagall's the one to tell him that. And she's kind of like, I don't know, what kind of a figure would you call her? Like, not a mother figure, like an aunt figure.
I don't know. She's the friggin' headmistress. She's it's as good as talking to Dumbledore.
Yes, but Harry has kind of a closer connection to all of the teachers than the other students.
That's true.
So there's a little bit more to it when she says something like this, you know?
Well, especially because she's usually so stoic.
Yes, very stoic.
Stoic. She says, Professor McGonagall peered sternly over her glasses at Harry. I want to hear you're training hard, Potter, or I may change my mind about punishing you. Then she suddenly smiled. That was the part that got me. Your father would have been proud, she said. He was an excellent Quidditch player himself.
Okay. That was the part that got you.
Yeah. Her suddenly smiling. Because remember, when the very first time he saw her, he was like, Harry's impression of her was she was someone you didn't mess with.
Right, exactly.
When they gathered up the first years for the sorting.
Yep. So then he tells his good news to Ron, and Fred and George, who are on the team, are like, yes, this is so exciting, right? And of course, here comes Malfoy and Crabbe and Goyle, and he's like, "Oh, hi, Malfoy. You know, you're not so brave now that you're on the ground, right?" So let me see. What does it say here? Oh, it says, so Fred and George had hardly disappeared when someone far less welcome turned up. Malfoy, flanked by Crabbe and Goyle. And Malfoy says, are you having a last meal, Potter? When are you getting on the train back to the Muggles? Because he totally thought that he was going to be expelled, right? But it turns out, obviously, that he wasn't. And here comes the fun part. Now comes the reason why this chapter is called the Midnight Duel. Malfoy says, I'd take you on any time on my own. Tonight, if you want, a wizard's duel. Wand only, no contact. Of course, no contact, because Malfoy. What's the matter? Never heard of a wizard's duel before, I suppose? And of course, Ron. So fantastic. Of course he has. And I'm his second. Who's yours? That's a ride or die right there. That's a friend. I love it so much. So then after he leaves, Harry's like, what's a wizard's duel? Like, I don't know. But Ron wasn't about to tell him in front of Malfoy.
And what do you mean you're my second?
Exactly.
Well, a second's there to take over if you die, said Ron casually.
Exactly. Another line I absolutely adore. Harry says, and what happens if my wand, like, what if I wave my wand and nothing happens? Ron says, throw it away and punch him on the nose. Fantastic. Absolutely.
No, I'm sorry. The better exchange there is when Hermione comes over. Because she goes, so it's right after that. Throw it away and punch him on the nose, Ron suggested. Excuse me. They both looked up. It was Hermione Granger. Can a person eat in peace in this place? Said Ron. Hermione ignored him and spoke to Harry. I couldn't help overhearing what you and Malfoy were saying. Bet you could, Ron muttered. And you mustn't go wandering around the school at night. Think of the points you'll lose, Gryffindor. Blah, 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 blah. Very selfish of you. It's really none of your business, said Harry. Goodbye, said Ron. Just how much Ron totally cannot stand her.
There's so much quippier in the book, right?
Yeah, they are. She said I couldn't
it.
help overhearing. He said, I bet you could.
I love it. So
Oh.
they actually said that they're going to do this wizard's duel in the trophy room. That's always unlocked for some reason. And so they go. Ron and Harry go downstairs. They're in their room, and they wait for everybody to go to sleep because they share their room with Dean and Seamus and Neville, right? So they wait for everybody to go to sleep. Well, Dean and Seamus, because they're the ones that are in there. And they go downstairs, and lo and behold, there's Hermione, right? And Hermione walks with them because she's trying to just chatter at them. And they go outside of the common room, and the fat lady is gone. So Hermione is basically locked out. She can't get back into the common room because the fat lady has gone off somewhere.
Probably off drinking wine.
With her friend Violet. Shout out to Violet.
Hey! Shout out to boozy, whiny nights with Violet.
Get at us, Violet. We want to join you. So then Hermione's like, great. Okay, well, I'm coming with you. So they start going over to the trophy room. And lo and behold, they find Neville along the way because he forgot the password. He's curled up in a ball, basically just sleeping. And you know, he can't get back into the common room. So now it's all four of them rocking out, which in the book, it's only three of them. Neville is not part of the party. And they go to the trophy room, and then what happens? Malfoy doesn't show. Malfoy is a big fat fink. Malfoy finked on him to Filch. And so
not a big
Filch,
fat fink.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
He is. He's nothing but a fink. So
he's a big fat fink.
He tells on them, and Filch is there with the cat, of course, Mrs. Norris. And so they're like, run for it. So they run, and they end up where else but the third floor corridor that they're not supposed to be at. And, you know, they end up meeting a very interesting new character. Would you like to introduce this new character?
They come upon a locked door. They have nowhere else to go. Hermione snatches Harry's wand and uses the Alohomora spell to unlock the door. They go inside. They're hiding against the door. They're listening for Filch on the other side, but Neville's very frantically yanking at Harry's robe. And finally, Harry's like, what? And he turns around, and it says he saw exactly what, like when he turned around. Standing behind them in what is supposed to be this locked, what they thought was a room, but is actually the third floor corridor that was forbidden at the original feast, not even 2 weeks ago, is a very, very, very large dog. Very large, with 3 heads.
They were looking straight into the eyes of a monstrous dog, a dog that filled the whole space. between the ceiling and the floor. It had 3 heads, 3 pairs of rolling, mad eyes, 3 noses twitching and quivering in their direction, 3 drooling mouths, saliva hanging in slippery ropes from yellowish fangs. That's exciting.
It was standing quite still, all 6 eyes staring at them, and Harry knew that the only reason they weren't already dead was that their sudden appearance had taken it by surprise.
I mean, if you don't need a change of underwear at this point, I don't know.
Harry said, F it. He was like, if I got to choose between Filch and death, I choose Filch. And so they bust out of the door. Oh!
Yeah. So they run out. Filch is no longer there, thankfully, but they just run straight to the Gryffindor common room. And the fat lady is like, where on earth have you all been? And I would like to say, we can ask you the same thing, fat lady. Because she wasn't there before. So they tell her the password. They run back upstairs, and Hermione has her patented, like, one of her awesomest lines ever. When she basically says, I hope you're pleased with yourselves. We could have all been killed, or worse, expelled. If you don't mind, I'm going to bed. So, of course, Hermione, thinking that expulsion is a far worse punishment than death. Literally at the end of the chapter.
Okay. So what was your takeaway from the chapter? Wait, did we do all the trivia questions? Let's see. Harry's a seeker. Gran sent Neville a remember-all. Oh, did we talk about what position Fred and George played?
No.
How perfect is it for them to be beaters, though?
I know, right?
Okay, well then tell us your takeaway so we can move into making magic.
Okay. So, what is my takeaway? I just love seeing the character development more than anything. Literally, I wrote Hermione being Hermione, Malfoy being Malfoy, Neville being Neville, Ron being Ron. It's just, they are developing their characters, and as we know them, as we've read the whole series, we know that this is just them showing more of themselves in a way, and I love seeing that.
I mean, it's also age, so think about it. Later on, they fully appreciate Hermione's know-it-allness and cleverness and always knowing some stuff. But
because they're like,
right now,
Hermione.
Yeah, but right now, 2 weeks in, when she's bored them stupid at breakfast about Quidditch tips and flying tips, and it was, for me, it was the Ron. It was the Ron Hermione, like, they clearly just cannot stand each other at this point. Like, she just annoys the shit out of him for some reason.
Yeah, and the quippiness, right?
Yeah, and like, it's not in the movie, but I can totally see. I couldn't help overhearing. Bet you could.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
I'm his second. Of course he knows. I'm his second. What?
Yeah. Like, it's Ron being totally down for Harry. Harry being super happy that he actually has a friend, and a friend that's super down for him. And then, like you said, just Hermione being Hermione, because...
Yeah. And Harry finding something that he can do naturally.
That came to him so easily and naturally.
Yes. And then being told that it's actually because it comes from his dad. Like, yeah. Starting to connect to his parents and his life as a wizard that he didn't even know he had.
It hasn't even been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the Thursday of the second week, so they've barely made it through 2 weeks. Hermione is a know-it-all and Ron can't stand her. Harry has figured out that he's the first year on the Quidditch team in over a century.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's the things are coming. It's all shaping up.
And also the cool thing about he's part of this Quidditch team, right? And Fred and George are on the team too, right? They're beaters on the team. So he gets to be the keeper. Oliver's
Seeker.
the seeker. Oliver's the keeper. And then Fred and George, they're the beaters. And then you've got who is it? Alicia and...
There's 3 of them. It's Alicia, Angelina, and Katie.
And Katie. That are the chasers.
The chasers, yeah.
But yeah,
The
so
three,
like
the
that's
3 girls.
cool. Yeah, that's super cool to watch.
Yeah.
Develop.
And then Oliver's like super excited. So he's like, let's keep it a secret and not tell anybody. But Fred and George, because they're on the team, they come up and they're like, oh, Harry, that's so cool. Oh, yeah, we're on the team too. We're readers. Because the only person he told, obviously, was Ron.
Well, I mean, yet another connection to the Weasley, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how cool they are as a family in the wizarding world. Because Charlie Weasley was also an accomplished seeker.
McGonagall even said Charlie Weasley couldn't have done it.
Yeah. And Malfoy, just a big fat fake.
A big fat fake. Yeah, we don't like Malfoy. Malfoy, he's also a coward, bro. Like,
yeah.
I don't like Malfoy. He's not of good character. He's of questionable character.
Questionable morals character.
Yes, that part. All right, so shall we do it then?
Is it time to make magic?
It's time to make magic!
I will tell you right now. I made some mischief this week. It started off in a very mischievous direction. And I was really upset with myself. I was very frustrated with this particular, what I thought in my head was going to be a pretty easy peasy craft. A very easy peasy craft. It was not. I had some challenges. So, of course, as I do, sometimes make iterations of things. This time, I literally scrapped the first one in its entirety to bring you what I think is much more quality work on my part.
All right. Shall we get started?
Yes, please. Let's get right into it. This is my attempt at making Neville's Grand's Gift, which is the Remembrall. Also because I want to put it on my Christmas tree when I decorate next Christmas for Harry Potter Christmas. I want to make it a Christmas tree ornament. So I used ornament balls that I already had, and I removed all of the glitter decoration off of them. And so I have some ribbon, and I thought I would put some batting, some fluff in there, and maybe the red pipe cleaner to try to show that the white smoke was turning red. However, please move to the next picture. Here I am attempting to cover the red pipe cleaner in the cotton. And then when I shoved it in,
looks messy.
Yeah, it doesn't look cute. And I was already upset with it. And I thought, well, let's just see what happens when I shove it in the actual ornament. And I even tried to let's put a Band-Aid on it by putting some glitter in it. It was not my best work. It was very disappointing for me. So I scrapped it. I want to give you quality. So here we go. We're starting over. This time we're using tissue paper. So on the right, we've got a bunch of tissue paper, different colors, but I'm only going to use the red one. And then use my trusty glue gun and a permanent silver marker and the ribbon. Now, go to the stove, get yourself a knife that you don't care about too much, heat the blade, and very carefully melt the plastic to cut your ornament in half so that you can much more carefully place the tissue paper inside of it. And then I use my glue gun to close it back up. So you can see in the next picture, I used my glue gun to close it back up, sealing in the tissue paper. And actually, I put a little bit of batting inside of the tissue paper to kind of fill it, make it a little bit full. And then I covered the center line, the cut line, with the ribbon. But I didn't like just the gold ribbon. I wanted to give it an accent. So I put the silver ribbon on there. And then, if you can zoom in closely, I put little charms, like nail charms, onto the silver glitter, the silver ribbon. And then I used the silver marker to put the lines that are visible in the movie version of the Remember. So if you had a steady hand, which I don't really think I do, you can make beautiful patterns on your Remembrall. You can do whatever you want. Again, the licensing here is you do you, boo. Like, get creative, enjoy it. Make it your own Remembrall. If you want to make it like, what did you forget? You forgot a pen and you want to draw a pen on it because it's telling you the answer like we want it to, go for it. You know? No one's stopping you. I'm not stopping you, that's for sure.
I mean, totally missed a good plot point there. Like, it could have totally been more like a crystal ball that, like, the white smoke goes away and shows you what it is that you're forgetting.
Exactly. But I have to say that I am much happier with this Remembrall. Here are the little details of the little nail stones that I put on there. I just added a couple extra like colorful ones. Here's the line work. Again, in the pictures that I saw, there were a couple that were kind of, it looks almost like a swan or something. Like there's an animal in these lines. I wasn't going to try to get that detailed. Okay, we're just doing what we can. We're only muggles after all.
Remind them.
However, I do have a suggestion for you because, I'm the one who does this first so that you can do it better than I do. Make the lines first. I made the lines last, and the ribbon gets in the way of you making like beautiful lines between here and there, between the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere of your little globey. So I would suggest make the lines first.
Before
And
I cut it open?
Yes, before you cut it open. And cut it open in a well-ventilated area, okay? Don't go sniffing plastic fumes. All right.
She's trying to
But
get me high.
yeah. Not plastic fume high. No, that we don't want that. But yeah, so you know what? This I will proudly display on my Christmas tree. I'm
It's cute.
far more proud of this than I was of the first attempt that I made. That one was garbage.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but okay.
Oh no. It was unacceptable.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we'll see what
So
happens there. I'll
that's
be
my
making
magic.
I'll
Do
be
you have
making a trip to
questions
Daiso this weekend.
Do you have questions about how to make the magic happen?
Nope, I just got to see if I can find the supplies at the Daiso. And then if not, figure out how to improvise on the fly. We shall see.
Yeah, there aren't any clear Easter eggs.
No, I
Because now
haven't
it's
seen those.
Easter. You may not be able to find Christmas supplies because this is, after all, an ornament.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you know me, I'll walk around and see what I can improvise. And, there might be like some toy with a little something. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. All right.
Oh, you know what? Possibly one of those little glass terrarium things.
I know what you're talking about.
Sometimes they have them. You
Yeah.
might be able to work with that.
We'll see. I plan to go this weekend and see what they have at the Daiso and the Dollar Tree and what I can improvise to make happen. And then we'll see what I come up with, what kind of mischief I can make.
There you go. And what time is it now?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It is time for Hallows or Horcruxes. Today's Would You Rather. Would you rather be highly skilled at riding a broomstick or be highly skilled at making potions?
Okay. Right off the bat, I know the logical answer is that I would rather be highly skilled at making potions because it's useful and in the future and blah, 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 blah. But it seems like so much fun to ride a broomstick. And if I was highly skilled, then I could be part of the Quidditch World Cup, maybe, right? You're talking highly skilled. And that sounds fantastic, to be an elite athlete of the wizarding world.
That's fair.
Right? And I mean, I've got Hermione. Or you can go to the apothecary, and I bet you that somebody sells the potion that you need. So I'll just use my
connections,
lucrative athletic money to buy the potion.
Okay, Slug Club. So,
and you?
I was torn because I'd really like to be highly skilled at both.
Yeah.
But when it came down to having to choose one, I had to admit to myself that I'm probably kind of a Hermione, in that being up there on the broom would probably make me nervous, and I'm not super all up and into heights and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'm a bookworm like Hermione, so I think potions is probably more my stilo.
Yeah. Yeah. But also considering the fact that we're talking about being like really, really good at something, it would give you the intuition to be able to do that thing, right? To be a highly skilled potions master, you don't just follow the instructions, the directions, or the recipe. You also kind of intuitively go beyond the recipe to try to improve upon it. And I think
Or,
it goes,
what is it when they say some people don't measure the ingredients, they just eyeball it and cook with love? I could be that potions master.
yeah. I mean, as we continue reading and go all the way through to the Half-Blood Prince, we learn somebody else who's really, really good at it and how they are able to intuitively act differently when it comes to the recipe, not just following it to a T,
Yeah.
getting the
Yep.
most out of the ingredients and stuff.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. I choose potions. You choose flying. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I could see that though. I could see you wanting to be a highly skilled athlete.
It just seems like so much fun.
I
And
I
then
I,
you get to
I see that for
go.
you.
I mean, you get to go to the Quidditch World Cup. I want to go to the Quidditch World Cup.
I
I
mean, me
want
too,
to.
but I don't want to play.
I, I think it would be great.
All
I
right.
I would
Well,
love
I'll be in the stands cheering you on, being like, "That's my bestie. Look at her
yeah,
doing that wrong Ronsky feint."
yeah, the Bronski thing. There you go.
Ah! All right. Tell the people where to find you.
You can find me at Poodle Noodle 82 on Instagram or on our website at www.thelightningboltchronicles.com, where you can find everything about us. Also, you can buy this sweatshirt. Look at it. Do you see this right here? It's right there. Go get you one.
You'll find that on the Sarcarrogance Media Group website.
Yeah.
And I think he has t-shirts coming out soon for all the shows too. So,
Awesome.
all right, y'all. It's me, Christina McCrary, on Facebook, Xtina McCrazy on TikTok and Instagram. All the podcasts, there's 3 of them. McCrazy's Place, The Lightning Bolt Chronicles, Thursday Night Live. All of them have Instagrams. Any link in any of those bios will take you to my milkshake, which has all things McCrazy. Yeah, brought to you by Sarcarrogance Media Group. Looking for guests for my March show, so check out my link and hit the Be a Guest button. Thanks for joining us and have a magical 2 weeks.